The first ingredient for this is our fish. I make sure and wash and clean my fish properly. Then I'm going to fillet the fish. Once the fish is filleted, I am then going to place it on a tea towel and tenderize it. I tenderize this meat two different ways. Skin side down, I double the cloth and then give it a few gentle pound, and then skin side up, I only made one wrap with the tea towel. So once my fish is tenderized, I'm going to place it in a container and use my homemade buttermilk. That link will be above. And I'm going to let that sit in that buttermilk for 2 hours. 2 hours later, we are going to put our flour batter together. I am using a cup and a half of all-purpose flour and 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. And once that is added, I am then going to add my breadcrumbs. I am going to use 1/4 a cup of my breadcrumbs. And you can add some salt, but I am going to add some jerk seasoning instead of salt because my fish has been pre-seasoned with my grind seasoning. That link will also be above. And once the jerk seasoning is added, now I'm going to add some sugar, and once the sugar is added, I am going to give it a good mix. Once mixed properly, we are going to start to coat our fish. Meanwhile, I'm going to put my oil to preheat. While the oil is heating, I'm just giving you a quick view of all the ingredients that was used. As I mentioned, the all-purpose flour, coconut flour, the jerk seasoning, some breadcrumbs, and some brown sugar. The brown sugar is just to add that extra sweetness to the coating, and the breadcrumbs is salted, the jerk seasoning is salted, and plus my seasoning, my grind seasoning, green seasoning, which again will be above, also has salt. We're now going to take the buttermilk that we had the fish soaking in for that 2 hours in the refrigerator. This is what it looks like. And we are going to place it in our properly seasoned flour and give that fish a good coating of that flour. And then we are going to add it back to the buttermilk again. Now this same buttermilk is also going to add to the sauce that we are making, a tamarind sauce. That I have the tamarind also on my channel. I'll also add that link. So as you see, I made another dip into the buttermilk and the flour, and then I am going to start frying. Taking my beautifully coated filleted fish, and I am going to add it to my preheated oil, and I am going to cook. But we're going to cook this, but not to cook this, if you know what I'm saying, but we're more or less going to just form a crust on the outside of the fish. Alright, because fish really cook within 10 to 15 minutes, you have fish ready to go. Sometimes it's even faster. It all depends. If you're using a very tough fish, then you will let it go a little longer. So I really wanted a solid crust on this because remember, this has to go in the oven and go in the broiler. So I really wanted a solid crust, and we also have to add our barbecue sauce, which is this. So let's get into the ingredients of this. I use my homemade dry rub. That link would be above. You are seeing my tamarind. I made tamarind ball, and I just made a sauce with the tamarind balls that I made and this dry rub that I have here and some barbecue sauce. I mixed everything together, and that is how I came up with that sauce. You can add a little extra pepper if you wish, but it wasn't really necessary. So I placed that on the fire to cook, and I also add the buttermilk remaining that we had the fish soaking in. Right, I add that to this barbecue sauce. And this is the end after the 5 minutes in the broiler. Beautiful color. The tamarind sauce adds that extra tanginess and sweetness and a little bit of heat, because I mentioned that my tamarind bowl had some peppers, so that's why I didn't add any to the barbecue sauce that we made with my buttermilk. That link would be above. Also the tamarind bowl would be above. So don't forget to check out all these other recipes that we use to create this awesome fish. Thanks for watching.